So XDefiant is shutting down. Who would have thought that Ubisoft would have screwed up another game? Now, do you know what? As happy as I look already right now, I do want to say real quick that genuinely I feel bad for the game of XDefiant failing, because when it was released and when it launched, I looked at the game and I said, hey, do you know what? I'm going to download it and have a little bit of fun with it. And then, of course, I genuinely enjoyed the game, and I also found a couple of flaws. I made 2 reviews in the game here so far, and it just did not feel right to not end this whole entire XDefiant stuff on a trilogy, and on a whole entire explanation of why I think XDefiant completely failed. Now, of course, it's a Ubisoft game, which is also another reason it probably failed, especially at this point in time where they don't seem to give a single fuck about anything about what they're making or putting effort into whatever they're making. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed Shadows, look at that whole entire Skull and Bones fiasco. But this is the video I just wanted to set aside to focus on XDefiant, a game that I enjoyed and a game that I found a bunch of flaws with that they did not fix nearly in enough time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do me a favor, like and subscribe, and also put down in the comments below what you guys thought about XDefiant. Do you think these points that I'm making are stupid? Are they good? Are they bad? I don't really care. Just put them down in the comments below. I'll be responding to most of the comments, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. Now, of course, as we get into this video, I really do want to discuss a couple of the main points around XDefiant itself on why it failed as a game that I played and genuinely enjoyed. And I'm not going to be enjoying for too much longer, of course, purely based off the fact that the servers are going to be shutting down very shortly, as you can see on screen here. Now, I do want to say again ahead of time that I did not want XDefiant to fail. Genuinely, the people that were behind this game and the game itself was not that bad, and I genuinely enjoyed it, and I think a lot of the ideas that they put into XDefiant was really good. I like the non-skill based matchmaking shit that you see in every single conceivable game at this point in time, which makes everything a pain in the ass. I didn't have to sweat my dick and balls off in this game, and that was amazing, because every single time I played Black Ops 6 at this point in time, I could tell you right now, I have sweat dripping down my ballsack onto the floor, and that's just something I want to do 24/7. This is the one game that kind of just revolutionized that, kind of changed that for the new generation of shooter games. And, you know, I really wish that Call of Duty and Activision were to pick up on this and put it in their own game, but you know Activision, they ain't gonna do anything about it. These days, with the new games coming out every single second, and I do sound like a boomer, I know that, don't judge me for that too much.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
But here's the thing, right? The very first thing was the gameplay was good. It was solid. You had the good sliding tactics. You had the jumping tactics. You had basic weapons, and it was never too complex. If you ever had a problem with anything, it was very easy here. You had a couple of abilities that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the pyro ability. I used to really love that one a lot, and I used to really love the whole entire game from start to finish. I genuinely think that most of the gameplay was really good. Of course, it had its flaws, and of course, you had your certain weapons that were a little overpowered. If you go look at something like the MP7. It's like the MP40 in World at War, but you know how it is. I genuinely think that this game was pretty well balanced in general. Of course, it had its couple of flaws, and you had a couple of characters, like the watchdog character, that was really annoying to deal with, but I genuinely think it was a really good game from start to finish. And I think the gameplay was really good. I think the whole entire gameplay loop of playing the game was very, very good, and I think leveling up felt really nice, and all the camos that you can unlock without paying for anything. Genuinely, most games nowadays, you can't do that with. Now, with all the good things out of the way, let's discuss exactly what went wrong, and I genuinely think most of it is not even related to the game itself, but another game, which we'll talk about in a second. However, what really went wrong with the gameplay itself and all this kind of stuff, I would say the occasional unbalanced character like Watch Dogs kind of made me quit when I got frustrated a little too much and I ended the game. However, that usually didn't stop me from playing XDefiant again the next day and trying it out again one more time, at least in the past. But what really did not hold my attention was there was no really cool new stuff. There was not always new maps being released. There was not really that much hype around it. You go look at something like, of course, hypothetically, I don't know exactly what you're thinking about, but, you know, a new game by Activision called Black Ops 6, and you go look at the hype surrounding that game that was really trying to revolutionize Call of Duty, or say that they're revolutionizing Call of Duty, and you go compare that to something like XDefiant, which really did not have a genuine selling trait. The only genuine selling trait that XDefiant really had was, hey guys, this is a free game, and there is no skill-based matchmaking, and everybody kind of got a boner from that, but that boner wears off after a while when it gets stale after a while. It's a shooter that gets stale, and they did not release nearly enough weapons. They did not really add a certain competitive nature to the game, which is good and bad in a sense. That's the kind of, you know, con of putting in a whole entire non-skill-based matchmaking kind of setup, right? which is, again, putting XDefiant in the grave a little bit, which is a really weird thing to say because I genuinely think that this system that they did implement was great, but it also did kind of kick them in the ass here. And of course, the gameplay itself, we already discussed that, was never really the problem. The problem was, how are they going to go up against something like Black Ops 6, a huge, gigantic giant of a whole entire game industry? If you were to look at the pie of what XDefiant was in the whole entire shooter genre, at the time of launch, well, I think it had 3 million players on launch, which is really good for a game like that. But go look at something like Black Ops the second it releases. Go look at something like Modern Warfare the second it releases. Even if it's a shit game and everyone tells you it's shit, it's still gonna sell fucking through the roof. Look at Call of Duty Vanguard. Of course, it was during COVID, but do you know what? Go fuck yourself. That game still sold more than World at War for some weird reason. Don't ask me how that even makes any sense, but that's what's happening here. You are going up against such a big giant, and you cannot, you need to continuously add more weapons into the game, more maps into the game. You need to somehow get some more creators on XDefiant itself. I think they should have really definitely tried to put some more advertising budget into trying to get some of the bigger creators to play XDefiant and show you how fun it was. And I think that's one of the bigger problems was the advertisement section, and if you're going to compare it to Black Ops 6 that was released. And on top of that, the cherry on top of their own death and their cherry on top of their own gravesite is the fact that the grave was being topped with the Black Ops 6 being free on Xbox and consoles. There was no reason for me to go and play XDefiant anymore. I had Black Ops 6. I love the Call of Duty series. It's a already presented series that had everything in it. The second you get onto the game, you have a bunch of new weapons and a bunch of new maps and a bunch of new players to go up against. And again, if that's a more popular game that's already taking players off of XDefiant, if I see that more players are going off of XDefiant, I'm going to be following the crowd over to the other game because it's more fun to talk with people. It's more fun to screw around on a game that has more people with more voice chats and easier matches to find than it is to, play with random people that I don't really know, that don't really use a microphone, or that, just don't care about the game too much, right? XDefiant is awfully casual, but it's so casual, in fact, that, I don't even see anybody wearing a headset 80% of the time, because I even tried to commentate on that, and if you want to go see a commentating video, it should be up very shortly, if it's not already up before this one. If it is, there it is, I think. Hopefully. I don't know. You can go check that out here, other than the link in the description, or I'm pretty sure I could put a marker right there. There you go. But either way, this just all culminated in XDefiant just failing and falling off. And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of articles that I can even put on screen trying to explain exactly what it was and exactly in which ways they think XDefiant failed. But I genuinely think the game itself was not the reason XDefiant failed, but it was the support behind the game, the advertising, and of course Black Ops 6 being released in roughly the same amount of time. And it just is very sad to say, because I genuinely had high beliefs in this game, and I genuinely think if you wanted an alternative to Call of Duty and to hyper-competitive stuff, it would be nice to sit back and play XDefiant as a casual play. But sadly, we can't really do much around that, and, XDefiant seems to be gone and shutting off very shortly on this date here. Now, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I think that's really the end of exactly why XDefiant failed here, and is going to be turning off its servers very shortly. Of course, other than the fact that it's, made by Ubisoft, which is having some massive struggles right now. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe. And again, like I said in the introduction, comment below exactly what you guys think about XDefiant. Did you guys even play it? Did you guys enjoy it? What did you guys think was the flaw of XDefiant, and why do you think it never really got popular? I'd like to hear you guys' opinion. I'll be responding to most of it in the comments below. See y'all next time. This is me, the Holy Commentator, signing out for now.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.